And now may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be ever more acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our rock and our Redeemer. Amen. Please be seated. Is the Lord among us or not? So wonder the thirsty people of God. There is a branch of Christianity, often referred to as the prosperity gospel, that boldly proclaims God wants you to have your heart's desires: money in the bank, a healthy body, a thriving family, boundless happiness. The civic religion version is confident that good things happen to good people, that nothing is impossible, that tragedy can be cured if you believe, or at least if you think positively. For roughly a decade, historian Dr. Kate Bowler interviewed the celebrities of this religious movement and eventually published its first full history in 2013 in a book titled Blessed. While not a conscious proponent of the beliefs, Dr. Bowler was, at the time, living her best life. She married her high school sweetheart in her 20s. She had a baby in her 30s after having struggled with infertility. She won her dream job at her alma mater right out of graduate school. Her life was full of possibilities. She was certain that God had a worthy plan for her life, in which every setback would also be a step forward. She was indeed blessed. And then one day her phone rang. "You have stage 4 colon cancer," a physician's assistant said. "We need you to come to the hospital right away." Dr. Bowler had been making the rounds of doctors' offices, trying to find the cause for the terrible pain that she had been experiencing for a few months. She was 35 years old. Her son was just a year old, and her cancer was likely terminal. The before of her blessed life ended in a flash. In the midst of her subsequent treatment, when death was constantly just around the corner, she wrote an opinion piece published in the New York Times titled, "Death, the Prosperity Gospel, and Me." It was widely shared, to say the least. That article catapulted her into the public eye. Thousands of people sent replies, certain of the reasons for her suffering. God was testing her to make her stronger. God has a better plan. When God closes a door, God opens a window. Everything happens for a reason, people wrote. Without consciously subscribing to the tenets of the prosperity gospel, Dr. Bowler realized that she nevertheless believed, like most of us, maybe like all of us, she believed that with determination and faith, she could control the shape of her life. God wants us to have our heart's desires, after all, to be healthy and wealthy, comfortable and in control. Success is propelled by hard work, determination, and positive thinking. Then her life changed, and she started asking the simple, devastating questions one does. Why? What does this suffering mean? God, are you here? Aren't I a good person? Is the Lord with me or not? A few days after escaping Egypt through the Red Sea, the Israelites couldn't drink the water at their camp because of its bitterness. The people complained to Moses, to whom Yahweh shows a piece of wood that when thrown into the water made the water drinkable. Problem solved. Crisis averted. All is well for a while. They travel once more, and very quickly they get hungry. I know the feeling. This time, the issue expands, though, beyond hunger. And the people complain to Moses, "If only we had died by the hands of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots and ate our fill of bread. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill the whole assembly with hunger." The mood had escalated. And we can understand, we've all been a little hangry from time to time. Thankfully, again, Yahweh responds. Manna rains down from heaven for the people to make bread. Quail is provided for meat. All is well for a while. And then it's time to move again. And again, in their new camp, there's no water for the people to drink. I can understand their frustration and anger. I'm pretty impatient. And it's easy to forget what the Lord did. Just how long ago was that? That miracle of taking the bitterness out of the water, that the manna and the quails. How easily we forget, how quickly we escalate, catastrophize in our thinking. Why did you bring us out of Egypt? To kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? What shall I do with this people? Moses yells at God. The text doesn't actually say he yells, but I'm pretty sure he did. They're ready to stone me. Moses is scared. And why not? I mean, shoot the leader. Previous problems solved, past miracles be damned. Is the Lord among us or not? We want proof regularly. We want to be blessed, to be healthy, wealthy, and happy, unrelentingly. Are you with us, God, or not? In a TED Talk in late 2018, Dr. Kate Bowler described how we want to live in a world in which not 1 ounce of our hard work or our pain or our deepest hopes will be for nothing. We want to live in a world in which nothing is lost. But what I've learned, she reflects, in living with stage 4 cancer is that there is no easy correlation between how hard I try and the length of my life. In the last 3 years, she continues, I've experienced more pain and trauma than I ever thought I could survive. But at the same time, I've experienced love, so much love. Love I find hard to explain. By the miracle of immunotherapy, Dr. Bowler continues to live today in the world she described back in 2018 as, quote, jolted by events that are wonderful and terrible, gorgeous and tragic. She no longer seeks to reconcile the contradiction. Except, she said that back then, that I'm beginning to believe that these opposites do not cancel each other out. Life is so beautiful, and life is so hard, she said as tears dripped down her face. Life will break your heart, and life may take everything you have and everything you hope for. But I believe that in the darkness, even there will be beauty and there will be love. And every now and then, it will feel like more than enough. Is the Lord among us or not? The thirsty people of God wonder. Moses strikes the rock with his staff as God commanded, and the story ends without telling us the conclusion. Does water come out? Do the people drink? The story doesn't say. In the end, all we know is that life in the wilderness is hard. God never promised it would be easy. It might even have been better before. And yet, even in the desert, even when life is hard, even when we're thirsty, there is freedom, and there is beauty, and there is love.